It's the first day of the farmers market in the Soo. Now I know, seeing the snow over the windows out there and the fact that it did snow again today, it's going to be hard to manage this imagination station I got going here, but bear with me. You get there, you're enjoying bringing in all this whole sensory experience, looking around, all the regulars, you come here every year. All of a sudden, you see over in the corner a new booth, and it says Soo Food Academy. What's that? So you walk over and you talk to the gentleman there, the young man, the young adult, and he tells you what he's doing there. He said, well, yeah, I'm part of this partnership with the LSSU Culinary School, and I'm in the career education, the career center at the high school. And I'm doing my final project, my independent study on farm-to-table foods in the Eastern Upper Peninsula. And if all goes well, I'm going to get a scholarship to go to LSSU. Wow, I see a lot of right on, yeah. So how would something like that have come about? Typically we need somebody to have that ding, an idea, right? And then they decide, hey, this is worth doing. They gather the partners, right? We got the high school, the career center, we have the cooking school. There's a lot of other partners that would make this happen too. So not to mention how to get the scholarship money, probably through donations and fundraisers. So we're going to back up from this kind of scenario that I just painted and see what other kinds of things we can do in the Soo that would look like that. So without further ado, entrepreneurism. We all know what it is. My first thought always is two really stinky, scruffy guys in a garage building, well, they wouldn't be building a computer anymore. I don't know, some kind of rocket ship or something now, an electric car, building something, right? And then they become bazillionaires, and that's entrepreneurism. Well, I got news for you. Luckily, not all entrepreneurs look like that. It's few of them. Entrepreneurs look like probably a lot of people in this room. So I just got to the Soo about 8 months ago and was immediately impressed with the small business, shop local community that's here. So there are many entrepreneurs in our community. If you look around, I'm sure they're among us. So now you know that's what an entrepreneur looks like. An entrepreneur has a new idea, right? And typically we face obstacles. We're all used to that, right? And all of you can think of them, I'm sure. Everything from funding to space to marketing, the list goes on. We also need structure and support. Yes, that is the bridge on Ashman Street. It's serving several symbolic purposes. When you think of a bridge, first of all, it's getting us over the what? What does that bridge get us over? Yeah, which one? Because I get them all confused. Is it the canal or the river? Okay. So, sorry, still new. So there was an obstacle. Somebody had an innovative idea to build a bridge over it, and I ride my bike over that thing every day now. So that is the structure and support we need. Now what that looks like in the community are things like the business department here, the business school at the college. It looks like our Economic Development Corporation, the Smart Zone. It looks like the public library that has databases and books about being an entrepreneur and starting a small business. It's mentors, it's other business owners in the community saying, hey, let me take you under your wings so that you don't make the same mistakes I did, or, so you can get this done. So that is kind of entrepreneurism in a nutshell. Social entrepreneurism. All that plus a social cause. Pretty much, right? So this is the concept that, yes, entrepreneurism usually does mean that you're going to start a business, it's going to make a profit. That's how it works. In this case, you're going to start a project or maybe create something that perhaps does make a profit. Many non-profits do have revenue models, but the social cause is the piece that we're really getting at here. Soo-cial entrepreneurism. See what I did there? Yeah, 8 months here. Totally talking like a youper already. Yeah, eh? So Soo-cial entrepreneurism is going to be, what does this look like right here? And I can tell you, it already looks like a lot of things. I'm going to give you an example that will illustrate this exactly, and you'll be like, hey, we're already doing this. So show of hands, how many people went to the Wicked Sister for the Mardi Gras War Memorial Hospital long-term care fundraiser? Anyone hit it for that? Okay, I see a couple hands back there. All right, everybody else went to bed early or something. So, War Memorial Hospital, Wicked Sister. They did a Mardi Gras celebration. I think you paid one price, then you got your gumbo and your other fixins. They made one batch, which I'm assuming, I'm picturing this like huge cauldron, like as big as the red dot. They made their batch of gumbo, and Kathy down there was like, we thought that's all we were going to need for the day. Three batches. They were running to the grocery store. They were up at Gordon's Food. They were everywhere. The place was packed all day long, and they were delivering food out to the community. So what's great about that? Not only that long-term care has some money to get a van to take their residents on outings, but also, what is that very smart business owner doing? Hey, our name is out there, right? So she said it was amazing in terms of promotion. So that is a great example of what we're doing already. So I'm going to step back another minute and explain a model that is different than just brilliant people at long-term care and Wicked Sister coming up with this idea, cooking it up, and just getting it going. There's a model called soup, and bear with me while I get you there. All right, close your eyes. Imagine that you've just begun making your favorite soup, okay? So you're dicing your garlic, right? Getting the onions in there, the saute, you start to hear that simmer. And don't most of our ideas kind of simmer? I mean, that idea of the light bulb popping up, not really. They kind of simmer until they become that idea. And then we add our stock and our broth, right? Which is going to make it heartier. So that would kind of be all the other resources that we can get from the community. Now, the protein and veggies, that's going to be truly the workhorses of our soup, right? So when we think about entrepreneurism and social entrepreneurism, you've got to have a lot of protein and veggies helping you, all right? You can't just have broth. So that analogy is going to help me better explain the soup model. So soup, it actually exists all over the world, but the one I'm most familiar with is in a city you might have heard of, Detroit. Detroit soup is kind of like the international headquarters. Here's the model. You bring $5, you go over to a friend's house or some other venue, you eat dinner, some of which is soup, salad, bread, you know, this is all stuff that people have brought. Oh yeah, by the way, this is a potluck. How many of you have been to a potluck in the last year? Oh, okay. If you know how to potluck, you know how to do this. All right, just put $5 in your pocket. So then you get there, you hear 3 proposals for a very small project that somebody wants to try, okay? And then you vote on it. The winner gets the pot. Let me give you a more concrete example. This one came from Detroit. 30 people came to dinner. They each gave $5. $150 was up. The project that won was a coloring book called, dang it, I knew I was going to forget the name of it. Coloring book about Detroit and about the historical neighborhoods there in order to increase awareness. And $150, done, out the door. And now that project is off and running, okay? So this is doable. And this is doable, again, because what you're doing is pulling directly from the community. This isn't some big funder coming from way out there saying, you all need this, you know, and we will provide it for you. This is us around this room and around tables saying, this is what we really want to do. It's also a shared meal. Who doesn't want to sit down and have a shared meal with your fellow community members? And we have common goals. Now, that whole concept of the $150 and that creating a project comes from a model called microgranting. So I just came up here and told you all about a whole bunch of stuff like going to a potluck and caring about our community and, oh yeah, we're already doing this because look at what Wicked Sister did. So what? What is TEDx worthy about this entire thing, right? What is my idea worth sharing? What's going to make me sound super intelligent? There's going to be some big words. One of them is microgranting, which comes from microenterprise. Just quick show of hands. Anybody familiar with the concept, the term? Okay, cool. So it should be new to most of you. Not surprisingly, microenterprise started in developing countries where there is very little money to go around. But there's a lot of people who care about each other, and guess what? They're also trying to survive. So they pool their money together. They say, hey, yeah, that's a great idea. Go ahead and, you know, make those cotton underwear and give them to all the women because they need them. So this is how it starts. Tiny amounts, again, $5 each. You have your proposals, and then you have your other resources. So you remember when I was talking about the structure in the community, and I mentioned places like the business school here, the public library, the economic development center, smart zone. Those are the other resources. The other thing that comes under that is something called in-kind. If you've ever written a grant or done anything that had to do with that, you love your in-kind peeps, because that's who's coming to the table and saying, we already offer this service and we're going to offer it to improve your project and improve your outcomes. So those are your other resources. Now, my next one, I'm going to get really, really shiny here. Design thinking. It's so shiny that I drew my own picture. I am not an artist. I drew my own picture to illustrate it. So design thinking is basically the process of having an idea and getting it to some sort of product or deliverable. Well, it starts with empathizing. That's my favorite part of it, because you have got to know that what you're creating is needed and wanted and will really serve your community. So you empathize. Then you define, well, what do we really want to do about this issue of, I'll say it, opioid use in the UP, right? What can we really do that's definable? Then you ideate. You actually say, okay, here's our very first idea. Then you prototype it. So this is actually really important, and I get to say another fun, smart thing. There's this concept called rapid prototyping. This means that you have to try, you create something, try it, fail. Create something, try it, fail. Now when I say fail, I don't mean fail. I just mean it's not all the way there yet, right? So this process, and those are my cute little curly cues out there that are just like, you know, all right, we're going to try it again, come back to the drawing board, tweak it, get it back out there. So that the way that you iteratively approach design is really important for this model to work. I also wanted to say the word iteratively because I'm getting really thirsty. So that is design thinking. Oh, hey. So here's what I'm going to say to you. I would love to talk to all of you after the talk, a few of you after the talk. Be ready, though. If you shake my hand, I'm putting a piece of paper in it. And that piece of paper has the exact next step that you need to take to make Soo Soup work. Thank you.